Just because of one random comment from the bar owner, the guy suddenly got the idea to bring a load of beer to the front lines.
I could do that.
Do what?
I could sign up for a ship headed to Nam and drop off a few brews.
His friends thought he was just talking nonsense while drunk, and honestly, that's exactly what it was. But when he woke up the next morning, it was already too late to back out, because his two best buddies had already spread his big talk all over the neighborhood. Even some families of soldiers on the front line showed up at his door, asking if he could give their sons a warm hug if he saw them. At that point, John could only play along. He knew that if he flat out refused, his reputation would be trashed. So with no way out of this mess, he kept pretending he was serious. Now John had to deal not just with his friends teasing, but also his dad giving him grief at the dinner table. By the time he got home, neighbors had already dropped off stuff for him to deliver. Nobody was even worried about John's safety, because neither his parents nor his sister believed a guy who sleeps till 3 p.m. every day would actually head to the front lines on his own. Their mockery made John storm off from the table. But then someone showed up and gave John a kind of courage he'd never had before. A mother pulled out a lucky charm and asked John to deliver it to Tom, her son on the front line. Whether it was guilt or something else, John surprisingly accepted it. A while back, his close friend had been reported missing at the front. Not dead, just missing. But that sliver of missing gave the mother a tiny bit of hope. At that moment, John couldn't bring himself to say he wasn't going to Vietnam. With a heavy heart, John went to the shipping company. Even though he kinda wanted to go, he was secretly hoping the boss would say there were no ships headed to Vietnam. But he was disappointed. A cargo ship called the Drake was leaving in 3 hours. Lucky for him, or maybe unlucky. He caught the very last ship. If he'd shown up a minute later, he'd have missed it. He loaded his backpack full of beer. Then, under the shocked gaze of his sister, John got into a cab headed for the Vietnam front lines. When his sister asked why he was doing something so dumb, John didn't explain. He wasn't just going to find Tom, he was also going to deliver beer to every friend he had on the front line. Soon the ship reached the port, and John officially set foot on Vietnamese soil. He gave the captain some weak excuse and got 3 days off. Then he hopped off the ship with a backpack stuffed full of beer. And just like that, his journey of growth began.